Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 9to5 Fitness Podcast. Our goal with this podcast is to expand our reach and preach our word. If you've never heard of 9to5 before, we're a small Melbourne-based fitness business that aims to help others on their fitness journey. My name's Louis. I'll be your host. I'm also the 9to5 podcast manager. My head solely relies on how this goes, so please be kind and bear with us for the first few episodes. A bit about me. I'm 22, living in Melbourne, Australia. I love my footy and especially the West Coast Eagles. I was born in WA. I enjoy going to the gym, but more importantly, helping others achieve their goals. I froth a beer, hanging out with mates, and I'm also one half of 9to5 Fitness. On today's episode, we discuss all things Gab, gym, uni, business, girlfriends, and we've even got a bit of a mailbag segment, thanks to you guys. Now, this is our first podcast and we have so much to learn. From setting up mics, editing the podcast, and even forgetting to save footage, you can guarantee we can only get better from here. If you are watching on YouTube, we did have a technical difficulty with the camera, so please enjoy the slideshow for this episode only. Seriously, we are so sorry for losing that footage. Please bear with us. Lots to come in the future. Let's cut to the podcast. Cheers. And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 9to5 Fitness Podcast, where we're trying to give you a bit more of an insight into our lives, a bit more than a 30-second TikTok. With me today is my guest, co-host, and business partner, Gab. How are you, mate?
Very well, mate. Yourself?
Yep, going well. Had a good drive in today. Bit of a mission, about an hour. The traffic, hectic.
Not good, mate. It's not good.
No, it's not ideal, but that's all right. We enjoy the country life. How's life been? How's your week been?
Life, I suppose, it's just the regular old stuff. Pretty busy. I like to keep a routine. It's what kind of keeps me stable. And yeah, early wake ups, early to bed, and just getting stuff done during the day.
How's your sleep last night?
My sleep, probably suboptimal.
Oh.
I think around 7 hours and 45 minutes is what the Garmin says. So, you know, it's all right, but you want to be hitting that 9 hours for a really good day.
Very good. Well, today it's about Gab. So I'm interviewing him. This is episode number 1, patient 0. So we'll see how we go with it. But to start off, tell us a little bit about you. Tell what makes you tick.
So a little bit about myself. My name is Gabriel. I'm a man. I like to do things. I'm at uni. Where obviously we own this business together. We love our fitness. That's basically me in a nutshell.
Good. And what about younger Gabriel? How are you?
Yeah, younger Gabriel. What you see now isn't always what I was. I was a bit of a troublesome young fella.
Were you ever?
To say the least. Well, I was always that kid getting in trouble at school, the class clown.
Never your fault.
Yeah, never my fault. It's always the teachers were out to get me. So it was the school years where I was always a bright kid getting good grades, but I was a teacher's worst nightmare. So
yeah, a bit the same, minus the good grades for me. Very good. And sports, when you were growing up, you were huge on your soccer from memory. So for those who don't know, Gab and I went to school together since year 6 and finished around year 9, was it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so and Gab was hectic, like he was right into his soccer. You're a big soccer man. Tell us a bit about that. Who do you go for? Who do you play for, and so on?
Yeah, so I suppose I started soccer pretty late because I started in footy and realised I wasn't really any good at that. Surprise. So we started soccer pretty late. I think I was 13 when I started. Picked it up pretty quickly. But I was just pure pace and power. I was all right with the skills, but I wasn't that amazing. We kind of made it to like the NPL level. I played a few seasons in State 2 and then kind of gave it all up. I just fell out of love with the sport and found passions elsewhere. I still love watching soccer or football. Manchester United's my team. There's probably a few haters in the comments section about that one. Yeah, but that is, I'm a big soccer man. But yeah, I haven't played for a little while now, but it always has a soft spot in my heart.
Would you ever get back into it?
100%. If I'm just playing with mates in kind of a social futsal, that kind of setting, I reckon that'd be a lot of fun.
Okay, good. Now, from soccer, you kind of had a bit of a hiatus for a year or so. and then picked up cycling very randomly. And that's kind of recent. Tell us a bit about your cycling.
Yeah, so I don't really know how I fell into it, to be honest. I think I just...
so random.
Yeah, it was
out of nowhere.
It definitely was random. So I just had a decent giant road bike I'd ride a little bit, and I don't know, I think one thing led to another, and I realized that I've got some power in my legs. I may as well put it to good use.
Yeah.
And my dad loves cycling, and he's got a bunch of mates that love cycling. So I started going on the early mornings with them and a few big trips. And I suppose I just got a bit addicted to it. So that's where the cycling passion came from. And now I've bought myself a new road bike and looking to get into some track cycling as well now. And it's just basically a bit of a spiral.
Yeah, good. Keep pedaling on those track bikes. Got to be careful.
Yeah.
And so uni now. You're not just a big lump of muscle. You've got a bit of brains to you as well. You kind of switched it on in about year 8 from memory. Before year 8, you were always, well, not the bottom of the class by any means, but just moving along. And then one day came to school and just switched it on. So what are you studying? And we'll get more into it later in the podcast, but just give us a brief overview of that.
Yeah, so I don't know about that brains aspect, but I do spend a lot of time studying every day. So
He's a worker.
I don't know. It kind of probably year 10 is when I really started taking my academia a bit more seriously.
Yep.
And obviously there's a bit of pressure with year 11 and year 12 to do well in the school to get into whatever tertiary course you want to get into. I was always pretty set on what I wanted to study, so that just motivated me quite a lot to do well in year 11 and year 12. So it kind of really set the tone for further study and good work ethic through that.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. Now, 9to5 fitness. Bit random, but what is 9to5 fitness? Can you explain kind of in your terms what you think 9to5 fitness is, kind of how it came about even?
Yeah, so 9to5 fitness, where do we start? We start kind of November 2019. It was a bit of a pipe dream. We didn't really know where we were going with it. I suppose what we really found is for students and people, like-minded people like us, there was nothing really that relatable in the field of gym, fitness, nutrition, all that sort of stuff. So we really thought, like, why don't we create something that serves that gap in the market, something that speaks to these people? And we thought, why not we do something like that? We didn't know where to start, but let's give it a go. And so the name 9to5 really stems from we're just everyday regular people. We've got work, we've got studies, we've got things like that to do, other commitments, but we can still kind of crush our fitness, nutrition, physique goals, everything like that, all whilst in these constraints of life. So that's what we really set out to achieve. I'm not sure if we have achieved it or we're anywhere close to achieving it yet, but that was the purpose of 9to5.
Yep, absolutely. And it's been great at that. Now, where do you see 9to5 going? Like, what's not the end goal, but kind of direction that you think 9to5's going?
So I think at the end of the year, we want to go public on the stock market. We'll be raising capital if you want to buy shares, $100 a piece.
Get involved.
We want to at least a $10 billion market cap. No, I'm kidding.
At least.
But I'm not sure when people ask what are the goals. It's not something I've thought about too heavily. Obviously, we'd love to keep growing it, and we think it has some potential behind it. But I haven't put exact figures on it being like, oh, by this kind of year, I want it to be taking over the world. I want a fitness empire or anything like that. It's really just taking it one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time, see where it goes. It's still very early in its life cycle here, and yeah, it's just exciting, really. I'm more of a believer of being present rather than forecasting things and predicting the future. So I'm enjoying it in the present. I'm sure you are as well.
Absolutely.
And I suppose if we're enjoying it and it is a sustainable venture, then that's all we can hope for.
What's been kind of the biggest growth for 9to5? Because I remember, when we first started, it felt relatively stagnant. We could get off the mark, and like any small business, it's what you expect. But what kind of pushed us to another kind of tier?
Yeah, so when we first started, we were a little bit self-conscious and insecure about posting on social media. didn't want our faces in it. God forbid you take your shirt off. That just would not be on. Like, come on. Like, got to post respectful content. Like, what if someone would criticize our content or something like that? That'd be absurd. We couldn't have that. But after we had a bit more belief and we saw some success in it, we really, we experimented with a few things, and some of those things were successful, and just that real growth. So we were kind of a little bit, obviously not that big on social media or anything like that, but the real growth was this wonderful thing called TikTok. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it, but it was a real catalyst to our growth. Now, the kind of organic exposure you can reach through TikTok is quite amazing, and obviously not everyone can get it. And I think I'm not sure if our content's actually any good, but some people out there liked it
for some reason,
some odd reason, and it really did help out our business. We grew quite significantly from that, so that really was the trigger for a lot of our growth.
I remember in the old days, like very first day, we got our first sample for a singlet, and we were walking around Yes Fitness trying to take photos, and we'd be like really quiet, like making sure we don't disturb anyone, and we would like make sure you wouldn't get like our heads in the photo. Like, we're like, oh, it's all about the apparel, like it's not about our heads, take it, like it's not about us and all this sort of thing. And oh, how far we've come. Yeah,
that was an interesting phase, and look, we learned a lot through that, but obviously now we don't really care what people think of us when we need to take photos. Obviously, it does take a bit of balls to kind of go around in public and take photos. And we're not doing that to be cocky or anything like that. We just need to get content. Otherwise, there'll be nothing up. So it is something, a bullet you've got to bite, and something you've got to get used to. So,
if you're going to get kind of anywhere in terms of, or want to make anything on social media, you've just got to bite the bullet, don't you? Because you were struggled with it at the start, but I really struggled with trying to get in front of a camera. Our first couple of YouTube videos, if they're still out there, they were like so awkward, and just trying to record that, and it was just like painful. We had people looking at us like these boomers, like almost in tears, that we're recording while at the gym. But you push through it, and it pays off. So if you are out there, or actually, Gab, if you could recommend anything to someone's trying to start out, we have a couple of smaller pages comment on our TikToks and stuff, looking for advice. If you could go back, what would you do to boost 9to5?
Honestly, I probably wouldn't change anything, just because I think a lot of those challenges and obstacles and errors that we made is what kind of got us here today. But obviously, just caring even less what people think. I know there was still a little part of me that cared what people think, and just completely letting go of that, and having faith in the process, having faith in your own abilities, and just having faith that it will go somewhere. So if you're a page just up and coming, I know a few of you guys comment on our content, just don't worry what other people think of you. Like, a lot of the hate that you'll get out there is from people who don't have their own lives together, and they don't really, they're honestly like quite jealous and insecure about other people being more successful than them. So if you're out there and you're in that situation, honestly, anyone that's talking rubbish behind your back is it's really just not important. And I know it's easy to get caught up in a lot of the hate, but you don't even give it any time of day. You just got to think that those kind of people, to comment something in poor taste, just isn't, it's just not on.
And if you're doing it with a mate like we are, some of the screenshots we send each other, we're just in fits of laughter from like the comments we get. Like we had a DM the other day, obviously won't say the name or anything, but mate, we've been putting in like hours every single day trying to get content out. We can't reply to every DM, and we have to like keep repeating that. And like some guys, like, it's, what's the point if you're not even going to reply, or like you're not even helping us? And it's like, oh God, like, we can only do so much. But anyway, that's all right. So 9to5 Fitness, it's been elite, it's been grouse, and we've had a very good time. But more onto you. So I know you're my best mate, and you are not just a ball of muscle. I used to think you're like a complete, well, no, I didn't used to think, but I'm sure some people think that you're just a complete ball of muscle who is dumb and doesn't know the alphabet. Yeah. But you like maths, you like words, and you like Excel sheets. Now, how do you go about balancing academic success with the gym?
Yeah. I don't know how successful I am at the academic stuff, but I have gotten to where I need to be. So for those of you who don't know, I study a Bachelor of Commerce and a Bachelor of Economics at Monash. I'm just about to graduate. I've been accepted into a further course, which I may reveal at a later date. But yes, so I do have a bit of an academic background. Again, I'm not the most talented or anything like that, but I definitely work hard to make sure I don't to get some decent grades, basically. So what was the question again?
So how do you go about balancing academic success with the gym? So yeah, what do you do to?
Yeah, so how I balance it. Basically, it didn't happen all of a sudden. I kind of built on it. It was learning things in high school, study habits that worked for me, learning how to be more productive with my day, and just kind of learning how to grind. And each year I kind of built on that. It wasn't, all of a sudden I clicked my fingers and I just turned into a big grinder. It was every year I'd learn what works for me, and every year I'd try to push myself a little bit more and achieve better results. So what really helps me with balancing myself is sticking to an approximate schedule. So I'm not saying you need to set yourself half an hour blocks every day. You need to stick to that, and you've got to get the whip out. And if you miss that 1 minute, then you've stuffed the whole day up. It's just an approximate schedule to make sure you get everything you need to done for the day. So you need to be aware of your tasks. You need to be checking your emails, know what your priorities are, deprioritize tasks that don't matter. So for me, I'd always write a to-do list for the start of the day. I've got to train upper body. I've got to get these meals in for the day. I've got to be in bed by 9 p.m. I've got to finish this assignment, watch this lecture. And those each day, if you take it like that, then if you've strategized it in the right way and you've periodized all the tasks you need for school, then 100% you're going to crush it. You just need to show up, get it done, and don't waste time on Netflix and stuff like that is what I can say.
Well, you talk about life-changing events, and I remember you before you went on exchange versus you after. There was a big kind of drive after exchange. You went through a few different periods, and you came back, a much more well-rounded individual. Can you tell us a little bit about your exchange and where you went, what it was, and just dive into it a little bit more for us?
Yes, so to give you guys a little bit of context, I had a pretty life-changing experience in 2019. So I was in third year uni. Around May or so, I went through a breakup with a long-term girlfriend, and that really set the tone for the next few months. A month later, I went on exchange to Malaysia for 5 months, and that was essentially just a turning point in my life. So obviously, for those of you who've gone through a breakup, it is a big deal. There is a lot of character building that occurs through that. And basically, I just went off, said goodbye to everyone, and went to Malaysia. Didn't know anyone for 5 months, and basically restarted life there. Did uni, everything on basically next to Kuala Lumpur, and it was absolutely amazing. Trying to kind of navigate university and studies in a different country, meeting just so many new people, engaging with so many diverse cultures. And really, I just went there and said no to nothing. I'd obviously just try to engage in all sorts of activities, no matter how odd they sounded, like futsal, athletics, even the talent show. Me and my mates, did like a song and we sung. I was just really putting myself out there.
Yeah.
And it was the most rewarding experience, traveling to different countries by yourself. And obviously, then I came back and saw you blokes, and apparently I was quite different.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, we were talking the whole way through Facebook and stuff, and then that's pretty much how 9to5 started, wasn't it? Because we kind of connected at the exact same time for 9to5. I was thinking, a one-stop shop for fitness. We're getting asked a lot of questions about it. How do we kind of build this into something that we can own and work on and make it like a more general platform. And then you were kind of helping people out for programs at the time, and it worked out perfectly, didn't it?
Yeah, it was strange. We literally messaged each other on the same day as though we were connected by some sort of brainwave.
Yeah.
And it was quite remarkable, really. I remember you messaging me about you were really interested in gym apparel, and I was more interested in gym programs, and that's kind of how it worked out. You're the apparel man, I'm the program man.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful dynamic. And almost 2 years later, probably 18 months later, we're here and we've made it happen. It's going well.
Yeah.
And we've put in a lot of work for it. But yeah, exchange is really what was the catalyst for NineToFive and that kind of thinking.
Yeah. Just on like putting in a lot of effort and a lot of work. For people at home, roughly how many hours do you think we spend on it a day? Or let's go a week, just to like make it
a week. So let's forecast it off the day. But you know, a lot of the time is content creation. So we have our expectations for each other, how much content we get up, as well as the schedule for posts on Instagram and things like that. So as well as filming the content itself and editing it, and obviously doing all the background business work. I know there's a lot of stuff you guys don't see, but probably at least 4 to 5 hours a day, I'd say. So if you multiply that by 7, what's that? 7 by 5, you're at 35. So
you're the maths man.
It's a full-time job essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. We see a lot of people come through with new business ideas and stuff, which is awesome. It's elite to be around that kind of vibe. But a lot of people don't realize, and not to mention like the money we put in at the start to get it started, you know, starting a website and all of that, like putting in and actually committing. There's one way to do it. It's time and money. And that's kind of what seems to be what scares people off for it, doesn't it?
And that's really the difference, turning your words and your dreams into action and into something that's actually tangible. It's all well and good having this bright idea. I want to start a clothing company, or I want to start, I don't even know what your guys' ideas might be or the other ideas out there, but whatever it is, you've got to put time and effort into it. And it just, there's no two ways about it. There's no secret shortcut. I mean, through trial and error, it was, and still a lot of error. It's just, you got to put in the work. Honestly, nothing happens for free.
And, you know, we always talk about, this is the last thing on kind of the small business thing, but we always talk about like the stages for building a small business. And at the start, there are so many different things that will just knock off people who aren't committed. Like even setting up a bloody Gmail account sometimes is like, oh God, I'll do it tomorrow. Or setting up your website, that's a big one. Like if I didn't have you, and probably vice versa, like we might not have created it. So if you are out there thinking about starting a small business, be committed, be relentless, and, you know, tuck in. Now, so we had a lot of questions come through, and we're not going to get into the TikTok questions just yet. That'll be a segment soon. We're going to call that maybe the Mailbag segment. Yet to be decided. But how do you stay consistent and motivated? What's your kind of mantra, and how do you go about that? Yeah,
so I do actually think of myself as quite a motivated person and quite consistent in terms of my motivation. A lot of people I know like struggle with slipping in motivation, and I know you shouldn't rely on motivation, but for some reason, I don't know what it is, I've just never seemed to I always see like the goal and the vision and how to get there. I'm not saying I'm breed different or built different to anyone, but it's just how I'm wired basically.
Talk it up, mate.
Exactly. It probably sounds very, very arrogant,
go
on. I just basically I have goals that I want to achieve.
Yeah.
And I suppose my brain works in a certain way that if I don't achieve those goals, I won't be able to live with myself. I won't be able to sleep at night. And I know that every day I'm going to do everything I can to achieve those goals.
Yeah.
And at least if I've done everything that I can, then I know I've given it my best shot. And really, there's nothing more you can really hope for.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what about, like, for our listeners and stuff, I think we get a lot of questions, how do you stay motivated in regards to people starting out in the gym? So it's kind of hard to explain though. Like once you're addicted and you're committed, like you're probably not going to go to the gym.
Yeah.
You know, like training sucks. I know that right now without my not training sucks. But for someone who's starting out, how do they stay motivated? What did you do early on?
Well, I suppose you've almost got to take a step back from there, and you've got to realize, do you actually enjoy it? Like, is going to the gym something that's going to actually benefit you and you're going to enjoy? For me, I want to be strong. I kind of want to be muscular. I don't want to be too big or anything. And I love seeing my numbers and strength go up basically. So for me, that's one of my goals. And to be honest, I don't see myself ever falling off that path. So for beginners looking to get into it and where to start and how to build that initial motivation, you've got to ask yourself why you're doing it. Is it because you want to get absolutely jacked and you just want confidence and you want to be able to walk around and be comfortable in your body? I know a lot of males, that they don't feel confident in their body, and that's why going to the gym is such a huge thing for confidence and just being able to carry yourself out in a confident manner. It just helps in so many domains of life. Or do you just want to hit certain numbers, whatever it is? Like, you've got to ask yourself, why am I doing it? And if you can't answer that, then I can't really tell you where you're going to get your motivation from if it's just something you're not really feeling. So you've got to have a goal in mind. For me, my goal is to hit certain numbers on my power lifts. I also have not really physique goals, but I like having a good physique. So that's what really keeps me motivated. And those sessions are just little stepping stones to get you there. And in the grand scheme, once you add all those well thought out stepping stones together, you achieve that goal.
Yeah.
And that's where we come in, and you get good programming and things like that. And your sessions need to have a strategy behind them. Essentially, you can't just be going into the gym and making up your sessions. So that's where the motivation really comes from. Is it's a path to get somewhere.
Yeah. And you and we are not perfect at all. Like, we started out pretty much with no idea. You were on keto at one point, you were doing this, doing that, and we were always looking for we were always looking for the new kind of thing to get us there quicker. But anyway, let's go on to some TikTok questions. So I put a TikTok out yesterday and essentially asked, I'm interviewing Gab tomorrow. If you could ask him one thing, what would it be? And we've shortlisted it to about 5 questions. We'll read out the username, and in the future, this is going to be called the Mailbag segment. We're going to get people to send things in. We'll review them and ask questions and all that sort of thing. Okay. So first question is from _Jack Cooper. He asked, what was the life of a young Gab like? Now, we kind of touched on this earlier, but tell us about, the young Gab.
Yep. So young Gab, very different to what you see on TikTok.
Yeah.
I was a soccer player, always getting in trouble in school. Trouble never seemed to miss me. And I'd always try fairly hard in school, get good grades. And then every Friday night, I'd go and grab a big packet of chips, some soft drink, a big packet of lollies, a block of chocolate, and I'd go and play Xbox all night with my mates.
Yep.
Those were the days when life was simple.
And that, I remember it used to be it was almost like a race who could have the least amount of sleep. Had 3 hours sleep last night, but I'm up at 4 a.m. doing grinding.
It was pretty cringy. I'd play Xbox with all my mates just until ridiculous hours, whatever game it was, COD Zombies, GTA.
He was no good.
Yeah, I was absolutely rubbish, guys. The only game I was really good at was FIFA. I mean, if you play me in FIFA, I haven't played in a while, but I was top 100 at some point. I'm talking I just embarrass you in front of your family.
Yeah.
I just beat you 8-0 or something. I knew every single skill move. It was just ridiculous. But that's the life of a young Gab. Shout out to Stephen Lammy. He was my Xbox mate. We just played for ridiculous hours, and it was good fun. So that's what young Gab kind of.
Steve, another one that's turned it around and gotten in the gym as well. So if you're at home on Xbox all day, think about hitting the gym. Listen to our content. All right, the next question. So from Main Train. Now this is, this gets asked 10 times a day.
Yeah.
I get excited when I get asked it, but it rarely ever happens to me. Is he natty? Now, for those who don't know, natty is natural, as in, is he using any anabolic steroids? If he is natty, then he is natural. He is not using anabolic steroids or any sort of form of performance-enhancing drug. Are you natty, Gabriel?
Yeah.
Sure.
So before I answer this, I'm really big on honesty and transparency, and those are the values that we created NineToFive on. And to kind of carry through on those values, I would never lie to my audience. I'd never give you misleading information, never give you misleading products or anything, and to just answer it once and for all. I am natural. I've never taken anything. I've only taken about 36 tons of chicken breast.
Yep.
Probably 1 ton of creatine.
Yeah.
Some amino acids in there. I mean, and if that's not natural, then what is at this point?
All above the books there.
Exactly. So I think if I was to be on drugs, I'd want to be looking like Jay Cutler or something.
Yeah.
Like I'd want to be absolutely massive.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just I think I do have the genetics to be that kind of size if I was on those drugs, but yeah, it's just not something that interests me. I've got a lot of other things. A lot of different aspirations that aren't really aligned with taking steroids, basically.
Yeah.
So,
how about these kids on TikTok who are like 16, 17 and they've done like SARMs or something? It's like, oh my God, mate, you are just going to, you're just ruining your body.
Yeah.
So don't do that, please. All right, next question is from Lil Ghosty. We've kind of already answered it, but what keeps you so determined each day, Gab?
Yeah, Lil Ghosty, what keeps me determined? Yeah, just having that goal in mind, knowing how to get there, so creating a plan to get there and then sticking to that plan and making sure your goals in the first place are something you actually enjoy.
Yeah, good. Now, this one also gets asked. This is the second most asked question. And I think you know what's coming. And we've kind of avoided it the whole way through, just ducked and weaved and don't need to speak about it. I don't know if it's good for business, quite frankly, because our DMs are full of people asking us for feet photos. And if they find out the answer for this, it's not going to be ideal. But Cheesy245 asks, does he have a missus? A missus is a girlfriend for those who are not in Australia.
Yep, so to answer your question once for all, I'm a little bit chuffed right now, but I do have a girlfriend.
He's done it.
Her name is Jacinta. She's a beautiful girl.
She's a lovely girl.
I love her to bits. Just so many wonderful things about her.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's the question on everybody's lips finally answered.
Yep. Let's tell her to get off all social media because they're coming after her. But,
exactly.
And we went out for a lovely dinner the other night.
Yeah.
You, me, my girlfriend, Gab's girlfriend, and it was
it's fantastic.
Fantastic. Let's do that again. All right. Last question for the TikTok questions. What's Gab's Nando? Oh, hang on. Robbie DeLima, I think. What's Gab's Nando's order?
Yeah, Robbie DeLima, mate. You must know I'm a big Nando's fan. So my order, I always have to get the sweet potato chips. That's just a staple. Next, usually a barbecue paella. If I'm ordering for the family, a grande, but if not, just the regular. And what else do I get? Usually half a chicken on top of that. So we got the half chicken. We got a paella, a barbecue paella, and we've got this sweet potato chips. I'll regularly get that. I won't really get anything else.
Yep. Okay. Good. I just go the half chicken generally.
Yeah.
Pretty basic as. Well, that's pretty much it for the questions at the moment. Now, I did just want to bring something up. We did just pick up a new sponsor, and I want you to talk a little bit about Elite Subs.
Yep.
This podcast will be out by the time it's all official. So, Elite Subs, tell us a bit about them. They contacted us and we're super happy to have them on board.
Yeah, so Elite Subs, one of the most notable, recognizable supplement retailers in Australia. They've got some really exciting products that they've got. And it's just a brand that we feel pretty aligned with. They're big on their social media. They stock really high quality products. And I think it was just kind of the next step for the businesses, having someone on board that really gets us and can kind of support our goals. So Elite Supplements are our new supplement sponsor. We've got some amazing products that we can't wait to review for you guys. I think we've gone for the Ghost Protein stack this time. So it's just absolutely
cereal
unreal.
milk.
This is literally the nicest tasting I'm so excited to crack the thing open there. Like I can literally smell how good it is coming from here.
Good.
But it'll all be launched by the time this podcast comes out.
Absolutely.
And we can't wait. This is going to be big, guys. If you're in Australia, these are the GOAT supplements, and we'll be telling you guys which ones to get. We'll have a discount code NTF10. If you want to support us and get a discount, hop on board.
Beautiful. Gab, good job, mate. I think that's our first podcast done.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think we've done all right. 32 minutes, not too bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Done a good effort. Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks for all your support. We say it every week. We can't do it without you, and we really appreciate it. If you want to pick up one of these elite tops, head to NineToFiveFitness.com or go to a link in one of our bios. We've got plenty of good reviews. Check out our merch. Good job, mate.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a really exciting experience, and if you guys like it, then we might do a few more.
Absolutely. What do they say? Comment, rate, subscribe.
I don't even know. What do they do on podcasts?
I don't know. Yeah, subscribe. I think
Send it
that's
to
the
your
one.
mates or something like that.
Yeah, send it to a mate. Tag a mate.
Yeah.
All right, beauty. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.